There's an old movie line that says, life moves pretty fast. If you do not stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. And for years, people heard that like a cute reminder. Slow down, enjoy life, take in the moment. But I don't hear it cute anymore. I hear it like a warning because some of you are moving fast, not because you're building a life, but because you're trying to afford one. Fast to work, fast to pay, fast to fix, fast to cover, fast to catch up, fast to answer, fast to survive, fast to make sure nothing falls apart. And somewhere inside all that movement, you stopped asking if you were actually living. You started measuring life by what got paid, what got handled, what got covered, what got crossed off, what didn't collapse. And I understand that. Responsibility is real. Bills are real. Pressure is real. But here's the question. When did survival become the whole story? When did keeping up replace building? When did maintenance become identity? When did you stop dreaming and only to start calculating? Because some of you are not building a life anymore. You are just trying to afford one. And today, we're going to deal with that. Welcome back to the Eminence Legacy podcast. I'm Jose Luis Cadena, and this is the Sovereignty series. Stop letting the world lead you. In part 1, we said, the world can get loud, but it does not get to lead you. In part 2, we dealt with reaction. If everything can trigger you, that means anything can lead you. In part 3, we dealt with appetite. You keep calling it entertainment, but something is studying your appetite. In part 4, we dealt with fake connections. Everybody can reach you, but nobody really knows where you are bleeding. And today, we deal with survival. Not money only, not bills only, not pressure only. We are going after the quiet thing that happens when survival becomes the ruler of your life. Because yes, life is expensive. Yes, responsibility is heavy. Yes, people are carrying more than they say. But legacy builders do not stop at naming the pressure. We name the pressure, we refuse the excuse, we own the response, and we make the move. So let's talk about it. The real problem is not that you have responsibilities. Responsible people carry things. That is part of maturity. The real problem is when responsibility becomes so loud that purpose gets quiet. The real problem is when bills become the only language your life understands. The real problem is when your week becomes a cycle of work, pay, recover, stress, repeat. Work, pay, recover, stress, repeat. This is a mechanical wheel that runs you into the ground while everyone applauds how hard your drive is. And then one day, you look up and you are not building, you are maintaining. You are not leading, you are reacting. You are not dreaming, you are calculating. You are not becoming, you are surviving. And because survival feels responsible, nobody questions it. People respect it. People applaud it. People say, that's life. Welcome to adulthood. You gotta do what you gotta do. And sometimes that's true. But sometimes doing what you gotta do becomes the excuse for never asking what you were called to build. That is where it gets dangerous because survival can look noble. while quietly burying vision. Survival can make you feel productive while slowly starving your purpose. Survival can keep your bills paid and still leave your soul bankrupt. That is the real issue. Let me say this clean. Pressure is real, but pressure is not permission to disappear. Bills are real, but bills are not your identity. Responsibility is real, but responsibility is not an excuse to abandon purpose. Survival may be your strategy, but it cannot become your sovereign ruler because your inner throne is never empty. Something is always sitting on it. Fear can sit there, debit can sit there, pressure can sit there, survival can sit there, exhaustion can sit there, the need to keep up can sit there. And if survival sits on the throne long enough, purpose becomes a visitor in your own life. You will only see it sometimes when you're inspired, when you are tired of routine, when a podcast episode hits too close, when the house gets quiet, when you remember the dream. But then Monday comes, the bill comes, the pressure comes, the schedule comes, the purpose gets pushed back into the corner again. No, we're not having that. That cannot be your normal. Legacy builders do not deny survival, but they do not worship it either. Here's the first truth. Survival can be necessary, but it cannot become your identity. There are seasons where you have to survive. There are seasons where you have to tighten up. There are seasons where you have to work extra. There are seasons where you have to sacrifice. There are seasons where you have to carry what nobody sees. I'm not going to disrespect that, but there is a difference between being in survival season and becoming a survival person. A survival season says, this is what I'm walking through. A survival identity says, this is all I am now. A survival season requires focus. A survival identity creates blindness. A survival season can teach discipline. A survival identity can kill the vision. And some of you have been in survival long enough that we could hear it in your voice. You could hear the defeat. You could hear that you've given up. You stopped recognizing when it started leading you. You do not ask, what am I building? You ask, what's due? You don't ask, what needs to change? You ask, what can I afford? You do not ask, what is God trying to form in me? You ask, how do I make it through this week? And again, those questions matter. They do. But they cannot be the only questions because if survival is the only question, then your purpose will always sound unrealistic. Vision will always feel inconvenient. Growth will always seem expensive. Discipline will always feel like extra. And rest will always feel like something you have to earn after you almost break. That is not a legacy. That is just an automated billing cycle with a pause. Let me stop you right here. Some of you are not tired because you work hard. You're tired because your life has no room to mean anything beyond keeping up. That's the difference. You are not just exhausted from responsibility, you are exhausted from a life that keeps demanding payment but rarely gives you a purpose. You are exhausted from waking up, not to build, but to catch up. You are exhausted from moving, but not advancing. You are exhausted from paying for a life that you barely get to live. That line may hurt. Good, because some truth has to hurt before it heals. And let's not play games. Some of you have been using responsibility as a hiding place. You say, I don't have time right now. I'm too busy right now. I'm just trying to get stable right now. I'll focus on that later. I'll get serious after things calm down. But let's be real. What if that storm never stops? What if that storm keeps coming over and over? What if the bills keep coming until the day that you die? Are you going to wait for a permission slip from your debit to start living? Or are you going to learn how to build while the fires are still burning around you? That is the question. That is what I want you to think about tonight. Responsibility is good, but responsibility without direction becomes a golden cage. Because you can be responsible and still be stuck. You can be dependable and still be drifting. You can pay everything on time and still be late to your own life. You can provide and still be disappearing. You can keep lights on. You can keep the lights on while something inside of you keeps going into the dark. That's dangerous. People think responsibility automatically equals alignment. It does not. Not at all. Responsibility is what you carry. Direction is where you are going. And if you're carrying responsibility without direction, you become strong enough to endure a life you were supposed to rebuild. That one matters because some people are proud of surviving things they were supposed to confront, proud of carrying things they were supposed to reorganize, proud of enduring patterns they were supposed to interrupt, proud of being dependable while quietly resenting everybody who depends on them. I'm not saying abandon responsibilities. That's not what we're saying here. That's not the conversation. No, we do not do reckless. We do not do childish. We do not do escape. We do not do blame. We lead. We confront. But leadership means asking, where is all this carrying taking me? Is this pressure producing maturity or just keeping me busy? Am I building something or only preventing collapse? Because if all your energy goes towards preventing collapse, let me tell you, eventually your life becomes one long emergency. And emergencies are not meant to become your identity. So let's make this personal. Are you building a life or just trying to afford one? Are you leading your money or just reacting to it? Are you leading your schedule or just surviving it? Are you making decisions or just paying consequences? Are you building vision or just covering responsibilities? Are you living or only maintaining? When was the last time you did something that reminded you your life is more than bills? When was the last time you had a conversation that fed your purpose? When was the last time you looked at your numbers honestly instead of letting anxiety keep them blurry? When was the last time you made a plan instead of making another excuse? When was the last time you asked, what am I becoming inside this pressure? Not what do I owe, not what is due, not what is broken, not what needs to be handled, but what am I becoming? Because pressure does not just affect your wallet, pressure affects your identity. It affects your patience, your marriage, your parenting, your health, your relationships, your faith, your confidence, your ability to dream, your ability to rest, your ability to hear God, your ability to be present in the now, your ability to be thankful of your blessings for today. And if you never ask what survival is doing to you, you may keep affording a life while losing the person who was supposed to live it. That is the mirror. Here's one of the most dangerous phrases people live by. When I get caught up, I will rest. When I get caught up, I'll start training. When I get caught up, I'll spend more time with the family. When I get caught up, I'll work on my dream. When I get caught up, I'll pray like I need to. When I get caught up, I'll get healthy again. When I get caught up, I'll finally breathe. But let me ask you this. What if caught up keeps moving? What if every time you get close, the line moves? Something else appears. What if the next bill comes, the next repair comes, the next responsibility comes, the next emergency comes, the next unexpected thing shows up? What if caught up is not a place you arrive, but a line that keeps running from you? Then you have to make a decision. You either keep postponing your life until everything is perfect, or you start building rhythm inside imperfection. You start living with stewardship inside pressure. You stop waiting for the perfect condition to become faithful. Because if you only move when life is easy, life will lead you every time it gets hard. And the world can get loud, but it does not get to lead you, not even through survival. Here is the hard line. Survival can make purpose feel selfish. That is what it does. When pressure gets heavy, anything beyond maintenance starts feeling irresponsible. Dreaming feels irresponsible. Rest feels irresponsible. Training feels irresponsible. Reading feels irresponsible. Building something new feels irresponsible. Taking care of your body feels irresponsible. Investing in your growth feels irresponsible. Saying no feels irresponsible. And before you know it, you start treating your own becoming like a luxury you cannot afford. That is how purpose gets buried. Not always by laziness, sometimes by responsibilities with no boundaries, sometimes by bills with no plan, sometimes by pressure with no leadership, sometimes by trying to be everything for everybody until there is nothing left for what God put inside of you. And I need you to hear this. Your purpose is not extra. Your health is not extra. Your faith is not extra. Your family is not extra. Your growth is not extra. Your calling is not extra. Those are not decorations you add after survival is handled. Those are part of the life you are responsible to steward. If your survival forces you to liquidate your own soul to keep the lights on, then survival has become a false king, and false kings have to be dethroned. See, scripture talks about stewardship, not panic, not anxiety, stewardship. That matters because stewardship does not deny responsibility, it organizes it. Stewardship does not pretend pressure is not real, it brings order inside pressure. Stewardship does not say, I have no bills. It says, I will not let the bills become my God. Stewardship does not say, I have no fear. It says, fear will not be my financial advisor. Stewardship does not say, I have no pressure. It says, pressure will not be the Lord of my decisions. And some of you need to return to stewardship, not shame, not panic, not avoidance, stewardship. Because God did not call you to be careless, but He also did not call you to disappear inside maintenance. You are not just here to keep things from falling apart. You are here to build, to serve, to lead, to grow, to store what is in your hands, to be responsible for your blessings without losing sight of what is in your spirit. That is the balance. That is the work. That that is sovereignty. So what do? We do not blame the pressure. We do not deny the bills. We do not romanticize struggle. We do not act irresponsible. We take authority. Here's the move. Tell the truth about the numbers. Stop letting vogue fear lead you. Write it down. What comes in what goes out, what keeps draining you, what is actually necessary, and what is just an emotional purchase to numb the stress. What are you avoiding? What are you pretending not to see? Because blurred numbers create loud anxiety, and loud anxiety leads people. Clarity may not fix everything immediately, but it gives leadership a place to stand. Separate survival from identity. Say it clearly. This is pressure. This is not my whole life. This is a season. This is not my name. This is responsibility. This is not my identity. This is something I must steward. This is not something I must worship. You need the language like that because if you do not separate survival from identity, you will start calling pressure me. And pressure is not you. Your current circumstances is not who you are. It is something you are walking through. It is a storm that you're in, something you are leading, something you are learning from, something you are organizing, but it is not allowed to become the whole definition of your life. Put one piece of life back on the calendar, not a fantasy, not a vacation you cannot afford, not something dramatic, one piece of life, a walk, a workout, a meal with someone you love, a prayer block, a budget night, a conversation, a creative hour, a quiet morning, a date with your spouse, time with your children without the phone, something that says, still here. My life is more than maintenance. I can steward pressure without surrendering presence. Because if you wait for life to feel spacious before you start living, you may keep postponing the very thing that will give you strength. Here is your 24-hour pressure test. In the next 24 hours, write down three things. Number one, what comes in? Number two, what goes out? Number three, what keeps draining you? No drama, no shame, no pretending, just truth, honesty. Then write down one thing your life still needs besides survival. One thing, not 10. One, maybe peace, maybe health, maybe structure, maybe rest, maybe prayer, maybe a conversation, maybe a plan, maybe time with your family, with your loved ones, maybe a small step towards that dream that you have. Then schedule it. Not someday, not when things calm down. Put it somewhere real. Because legacy builders do not wait for pressure to disappear. They learn how to lead inside of it. Legacy builders, this is your checkpoint. Has survival become your identity? Have you been so busy affording life that you stopped building one? Have you been so focused on what is due that you forgot what is still possible? Have you been calling it responsibility when part of it has become avoidance? Have you been waiting to get caught up while your life keeps passing you by? Have you let pressure sit on the throne? And where do you need to take authority back? Not with fantasy, with stewardship, not with blame, with clarity, not with shame, with movement. Because pressure is real, but pressure is not permission to disappear. Before we close, if this episode found you in survival mode, do not just nod your head and disappear. If you're listening to this on a web browser or a link someone might have sent you or texted you, don't let this be a temporary visit. Hit follow right now on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Legacy builders do not just visit truth, they stay connected to it. And if this message made you think of someone who has been trying to afford life, but slowly losing themselves inside, send it to them. No long explanation. Just send it and say, hey, listen to this one. And Thursdays, make sure you catch our new episode. that we're launching. It's a different rhythm, but the same truth. Don't miss it. Let's lock this in. You are not here just to afford life. You are here to build one. Survival can be necessary, but it cannot become your identity. Responsibility without direction becomes a cage. When I get caught up, can become a lie. Survival can make purpose feel selfish, but purpose is not extra. Health is not extra. Faith is not extra. Family is not extra. Growth is not extra. Your life is not extra. It's a blessing. So tell the truth about the numbers. Separate survival from identity and put one piece of life back on the calendar because you were built to steward responsibility, not disappear inside of it. There are things in this season we're going to keep confronting, not because we're trying to escape responsibility, because we refuse to be ruled by it. The world may get expensive. The pressure may get heavy. The bills may keep coming. The responsibilities may keep knocking. But legacy builders, we do not blame pressure. We do not worship pressure. We do not let survival become a king. We steward, we lead, we organize, we confront, we build, we take the wheel back, take control. So this week, look at the numbers, name the pressure, refuse the excuse, own the response, make the move. And remember this, if all you do is afford a life, but never built the life, eventually you may pay for everything and still feel like you lost yourself. That cannot be your story. The world can get loud. Life can get expensive. Pressure can get real. But it does not get to lead you. This is the Eminence Legacy podcast. I'm Jose Luis Cadena. And remember, together, let's rise to our eminence. Pay the bills. Just don't let them buy your soul. Wake up, it's time to go.